If you're struggling to lose your belly fat, it might be because nobody has ever given you an honest picture of what's actually going on inside your body. You've probably done the calorie cuts, the cardio, and the clean eating, yet your belly fat is still there. My name is Adam, I'm a performance nutritionist, and over the last 10 years, I've helped over 200 men get lean and generally improve their health. In that time, I've seen the reason men struggle. So I want to give you the 5 steps to lose your dangerous belly fat, not just look better, but to live longer. You weigh yourself every Monday morning and the number's up. Your entire mood is ruined and your week's mentally written off before it's even started. I used to do the exact same thing and it kept me stuck for years because I was measuring the wrong thing. Most men don't realize that there are 2 types of belly fat. There's the subcutaneous fat, the stuff you can pinch under the skin, and then there's the visceral fat, sitting deep inside your abdomen wrapped around your organs. Visceral fat is the one that actually matters for your health. It's the one that's linked to diabetes, heart disease, and dying earlier. And the scale can't see it. Your waist measurement can. It's one of the clearest signs that visceral fat is actually elevated, and it will show progress long before the scale does anything meaningful. Here's how to do it properly. Measure at the navel height, not where your belly sits, just above your belly button. Normal exhale, don't suck in, don't puff out, breathe out normally and measure. Same time each week, morning before food, alongside your body weight. From this point, that number is your primary progress marker and not what the scale says after a big Thursday night dinner. Look, I've been on keto, I've been on carnivore way before it was fashionable. I also did 5 years of intermittent fasting. I've pretty much tried everything the industry has thrown at men over the last 2 decades. And here's what all of them have in common when they actually worked. A calorie deficit. And unfortunately, that's it. It doesn't matter what labels on your diet. If you're losing fat, you're in a deficit. And if you're not losing fat, you're not. It really isn't more complicated than that. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. What about insulin? What about carbs? What about eating clean? The research is actually pretty clear on this. When calories and protein are matched between different diet styles, fat loss is essentially the same, even when insulin responses are completely different. You don't need to fear specific foods, you need to manage your total intake. So here's what to actually do. Track what you're currently eating for at least 1 to 2 weeks, just to raise awareness, not to judge it. You want to understand it. Most men are genuinely surprised by what they find. Then subtract 20 to 25% from that average. That's your target calorie deficit. Now hold it for several weeks before changing anything. Your progress will show up over weeks, not days. And a word on aggressive deficits, since they are making a comeback, they almost always backfire. You get hungry, performance drops, willpower collapses, and 3 weeks later, you're back to where you started, having felt awful the whole time, with another failed attempt under your belt. Aim for the smallest deficit that reliably moves your waist measurement down. Yes, that's boring advice, but boring works every single time. I had a client who was 44. He'd been training consistently, lost 20 pounds through diet alone, but he didn't look how he wanted to look. He was smaller, felt weaker, and still had a belly. What happened was he lost fat and muscle at the same time. And without that muscle, he actually felt deflated, his posture deteriorated, and his weight came back within 8 months. Diet alone will reduce your body weight, but it doesn't change the composition. And it's the composition that determines whether you actually look and actually feel lean, or whether you just feel like a smaller version of the same problem. Resistance training changes all of that. You lose more fat, hold on to more muscle. And the thing that nobody talks about is that it directly reduces visceral fat and waist circumference, even when the scale barely moves. You don't need to be in a gym every day. Instead, do this. 2 to 4 sessions a week. The split doesn't really matter, but if you've got only 2 sessions, it makes sense to do a full body. Focus on compound lift with some accessory work. Then what's key is to make sure you're maintaining or making at least slow progress on your performance over time, even in a deficit. The goal isn't a personal best every session. It's to send a clear signal to your body that the muscle you have is needed. That way, the weight you lose comes from fat, not what it took you years to build. Let's say you train for an hour, you burn 400 calories and feel good about it. Then you sit at your desk for 8 hours, take the lift, order a takeaway, and wonder why nothing's changing. Your body does compensate. When you exercise more, it may burn less elsewhere, less fidgeting, less standing, less intentional movement throughout the day. It's not dramatic, but over the weeks, it does add up. The men who lose fat and keep it off aren't just doing more gym sessions, they're moving more in general. There's a reason why some people seem to eat the same as everyone else and stay lean, and a lot of it comes down to how much they move outside of any structured training. Focus on daily movement. Set a step target like 7 to 10,000 steps. Take the stairs, walk during phone calls, and park further away. All of this will add up. Okay, so let's say you're late into your fat loss phase and you're seeing very little progress and you don't want to eat less. Then add in a form of structured cardio. This could be 2 30-minute sessions a week, some easy cycling, some rowing. You could even do more than 2 to 3 sessions a week, but I would say a 5 or 6 out of 10 in terms of intensity. Cardio isn't the answer on its own, but as part of a system, it can be a great tool. I'm going to keep this simple because it often gets overcomplicated. Protein first. If you're in a calorie deficit and you're not hitting on protein, you're not just losing fat, you're also losing muscle. So aim for around 0.7 to 1.1 grams per pound of your body weight per day. Spread it across 2 to 4 meals. Prioritize lean meats, fish, eggs, dairy, whatever fits your life. Keep it simple and keep it consistent. Higher protein also means you're fuller on fewer calories. It's essentially one of the best hunger management tools you have, and most men aren't using it properly. When you're underslept, you eat more. Studies show significantly more, not just a biscuit here and there, a proper meaningful increase in daily intake. And when you're in a deficit and underslept, a larger portion of the weight actually comes from muscle loss, which is definitely not desirable. 7 to 9 hours a night is ideal. And I know that's not going to be every night, but at least aim for that. You want to create a consistent bedtime and then create a consistent wind down time before you sleep. Dim your screens and give your brain a chance to slow down before you expect it to switch off. Yep, some boring advice, but it works every time. And then some patience, which I know isn't what anyone wants to hear. I lost over 90 pounds in my 20s through restriction alone. I gained it all back and it took me years to understand why. The answer was I was trying to get there as fast as possible rather than building something I could actually sustain. There is no version of this that works quickly and lasts. What works is a system you can maintain for months and years, not a plan you can tolerate for 3 weeks before it falls apart completely. Track your waist, track your weight, review it over weeks, not days. Trust the process, even when nothing appears to be happening, because usually something is. I get asked about this all the time. Ab circuits, waist trainers, specific exercises that target stomach fat. You cannot choose where your body loses fat from. That's entirely down to genetics. And some men lose it from the face first. I would say actually most men do. Some from the legs. Some hold on to abdominal fat until almost everything else is gone. It's just genetic. Core work is worth doing because it builds muscle, improves strength and stability, but it will not strip fat from your stomach directly. That comes from the 5 steps above, and there are no shortcuts around it. 5 steps at work. That's what the evidence says, and that's what I've watched actually work with hundreds of men over the last 10 years. If you enjoyed this video and found it useful, you'll likely enjoy this next one too. I'll see you there.